Hey, I'm going to try to do a video without it skipping, but I don't know if that's going to be possible tonight. I haven't done an update in about 7 months, I guess, and so you're overdue. I have some things to tell you. Remember every time I said, oh, well, we're just going to have to wait and see, we're just going to have to wait and see. Well, I've got some results from the waiting and seeing, and I wanted to share them with you, give you an update of the tanks as quick as I can, because my throat's sore, because I did an hour-long video and then it crashed, so I couldn't, I don't know what's gonna come of this video, folks. I'm gonna try. A lot of changes over the summer, so I wanted to share them with you. This is one of the bamboo shrimp, obviously. No update, really. The other ones, okay, there's 2 of them are down here, and they're totally being weird around an algae wafer that was down there there's the other tail of the other one. And there's the algae wafer. They've been tussling around and pushing around the Maramo moss balls. And now he's like underneath. They usually are filter feeders, but you put an algae wafer down there, and they're sometimes like totally all over that. So, sorry. Oh, there's one of the cherry shrimps. There's all kinds of fun stuff in here, but it's still here in tank. Let me back up here. Let me back up so you can get a good idea of what has changed. Those of you who have never seen my videos before, be aware this is going to be your long, rambling video, and I'm going to tell you updates about things that you didn't even know I was updating about. Anyway, alright, well, actually I'm going to tell you the quick stuff, the things I learned first, because it's funny. I did learn, remember that flame moss I put on a log over here, and it came in brown. I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to make it, and I moved it to the 10-gallon because it wasn't making it. It was all brown, and I thought it was dead, and I pulled most of it out. Okay, well, let that be a lesson to you. That was over a year ago, and yeah, it's growing back. Hold on, I'll go over there. I'll go over to the 10-gallon. Yeah, remember, if you ever read about flame moss and you read how, it takes a while for it to be established. What they mean by a while is like over a year. And not only did it not establish itself on driftwood, it wanted to latch on to, look at this, latch on to a plastic log. I'm not gonna explain that. I'm just gonna point it out. I have flame moss growing in my tank now on a plastic log. Alright, so this is an update of obviously, I've got some glare in the back because it's still light outside, sorry. The bottom 29 platies. I moved that red stuff, remember that red stuff I had, the mystery plant? I did move it back into here. It wasn't doing as well after an incident that I will tell you about shortly. And I moved one of the moss balls out. Yeah, the big one's in here now. It used to be in the 2.5 when I moved it out of there. Because the 2.5, another thing, I would avoid Theo heaters. I think that's the brand. Theo from Hydor, H-Y-D-O-R, I think it's called. Avoid those types of, avoid that brand. I had a second heater die, and they're both the same brand, and they're both brand new, so we are going to never buy that brand of heater again. They don't just stop working, they shoot your tank up to 90. Yeah, so get in the habit of checking your tanks in the mornings and in the evenings. Check the temperatures, which you should be doing anyway. I mean, they are your pets. You should be checking them out, you know. They should be part of your daily life. But, so it's a good thing I did, otherwise I would have had melty plants again. Yeah, that was upsetting. Okay, so this tank, let's see. Kabamba, I moved that lava rock out and put it as a hardscape into the 29. I'll show you that in a moment again. Red crypt growing slowly. And red crypt, and this is red crypt too, but it's newer stuff. It's greenish looking right now. Placo, one of the placos is in the new 29. The other one I couldn't catch. The other one is still here. She's hiding from me. She's only grown about 1 inch. The other one has, oh gosh, the other one's fat and grown longer. Now they both, some glare, sorry. They both are healthy and active and eat and have full tummies, but this one is narrow, where the other one is quite wide. I should probably look up overweight fish or something. I don't know. She's active, though. There's Japanese algae eaters in here. I was kind of looking for one for you. Nope, there's one. Alright, we're going to go sideways. There it is. There's one of them. I meant to move these guys into the 29 maybe, but there's 2 of them in here. But no, they're really happy in here. So, I'll leave them. Between the autocats and the algae eaters, and the pleco that's still in here, who's not really that big, and the platies, you know, I put an algae wafer in here at night, and it's gone by morning. So, you know, I think everybody's happy. And as you can see, this Anubias, hard to get a perspective here, but that Anubias is at least 10 inches in like from end to end. It's a long, beautiful, happy plant. And thanks to those algae-eating shrimp, it is free and clear of scale. Well, mostly free and clear of scale algae. The log that was over here covered in hair algae that I thought was really super pretty, I went ahead and moved it to make way for the crypt, and it is in the apple snail tank right now. They haven't consumed all of it yet. They're getting there. They're trying. So that's an update on that tank. The bottom of the tank has the red tree plant and some Ludwigia. Don't freak, the wisteria in the back there. It will grow back. I did a hard trim on the wisteria, and I accidentally sucked my large marmo moss ball when I was doing a water change. I was devastated when that happened, but it's still a ball. It will heal. They're such slow growers, but I do like them. Yeah, it's hard. I'm sorry. This isn't a good shot because there's too much glare. So let's go to the 29. Okay, I wanted to show you the flame moss, but it's not a good shot because of the glare in there. Okay, so the new stuff in the tank. I've got some ocelot swords. Great deal at aquariumplants.com at the time. And there's this. The new leaves are growing in. Both tanks are growing in with a darker red than the older leaves. It is large. It'll grow past the top of the tank, so I have to trim out the older leaves. Okay, as you can see, those of you who have seen my tanks before will be like, where's all that beautiful, bushy, pale green wisteria stuff, that the Hygrophila deformis that was in the back? It's still there. It's back there. See, I just did a severe trim on it. I did not need all of that back there. And not only that, you see that beautiful sword in the back? Yeah, that's the one that was up front and was as big as this one when I did my last videos, you know. Okay, so I had to move it. It was in front and it was blocking the view of everything. So it's been put in the back, and it can take over back there, and it grows to the surface. And okay, so don't freak. The wisteria will grow back. I'm not going to let it take over like it was, because honestly, it was sucking nutrients away from the other plants. What's new in here is some Sagittaria in the back that I just got, and dwarf stag in the front here, that I got, and I wanted to. Oh, and the ocelot sword, of course. There's a cute little melon sword back there. I wanted to show you the sag before it wilted, because it's a new plant, so it might shed its leaves to adapt to its new conditions, and I wanted to show you before it did that. I'm not sure if it's going to, because sag is pretty hardy stuff. Yeah, that sword's gorgeous. That is a gorgeous sword. It really likes this tank. I don't know why, because it's a low light tank, but whatever. Whatever I'm doing right, so hey. There's the banana plant. There's, actually that's a new banana plant. The other one got eaten. Started wilting, and then the platies that I had in the tank at the time were like, oh, food, thanks. Yeah, and finish it off, so. They like dead plant, or dying plant matter, I should say. The tiger lotus is still in here. It's just, I told you before that the bulb does go dormant every once in a while, and it did. Now it's got some growth, and I got a new one. I got another one back there, and then one of them split, and I put here, and it's got leaves. It's still alive. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. So I'm hoping I have a nice, and I'm going to try to prune it low, but you know they like reaching. Remember in previous videos I had a leaf that was like as big as my hand, and I needed to prune it back. I'm going to try not to let it get that big again, okay? Yeah, let's not do that. I'm shaking the tree. Ooh, sorry. Make you dizzy. Let me look for something fun for you to watch. Let's see. Night snails, because they don't go anywhere. I had one of my, if you get snails in general, use a glass canopy or screen top or something, because they will climb out of your tanks. I had a tragedy. I had the glass canopy off for whatever reason. I can't remember. I think I was checking the light bulbs or something. Anyway, I don't know. I don't remember why I had it off, but I had it off for at least 10 minutes. The next day, there was a dead narite snail on the floor beside the tank. The sucker obviously got out while I didn't have the glass canopy there. And that's very upsetting because it was a beautiful, large narite snail. It was wonderful. It was one of the, it's just a nice size. Hello. Yeah, we got the algae wafer down there. Yeah. They keep rolling the moss balls around. They're having fun with that. They will actually, these guys, they will actually, if I went down there and squeezed one of these balls, they get a real kick out of that. Hello. You guys fans, I was like, what the heck are you talking? What are you doing? Oh, you are scraping up that. Okay. The other one's over here. I like this. She's. Oops, sorry, I missed Arlia. Carry on. She's over here doing her thing. Yeah, I don't know. The trick with these plants is obviously they grow and you have to keep moving around, which is nice because then your tank, it changes and it's beautiful, and I like seeing it grow. But that wisteria, honestly, was out of control. Bad thing that happened while I was sick, and I'm going to tell you this summer. I'm going to tell you this because I want you to learn from it, and that is, oh, here's another one coming out. She's like, what are y'all doing over here? I'm going to come check it out. Okay. Oh, there's another narite snail. Okay. My tanks are heavily planted, and obviously, and that's great because that's the filter. That's the main form of filtration, is the gravel and the circulation with the power heads. But what I was doing for this summer, I was sick, and so for 6 weeks, none of my aquariums got water changes or fertilizer. They didn't get their routine. The fish got fed when I remembered, and none of my tanks got their usual maintenance for 6 weeks. Now I have glass canopies, so there was no evaporation, and because I wasn't continually fertilizing, there wasn't a buildup of minerals. However, you'd think that would still put a lot of stress on the fish. Check the water quality before I did my water changes. No measurable ammonia, no measurable nitrate, no measurable nitrites. pH was absolutely dead on stable. The thing is, when you do your water changes, you're measuring from the top of the tank. So you got to figure if there's ammonia, and it's going to be at the bottom of your tank. So your bottom feeders are going to suffer for that. So I don't recommend doing that. But when you have planted aquariums, you can. But there were some casualties, I'm going to tell you. Because I wasn't fertilizing, and my plants are varied in their needs, I was fertilizing. Here we go. I was looking for a good example. There. See those holes? So potassium deficiencies in Anubias leaves. I've got a few of them, mostly in the Anubias, in all my tanks. Yeah. So they did suffer, is my point. And the wisteria got a little bit of algae on it, but that's no big deal because wisteria is like a freaking weed, and that's what wisteria is. Here's another one. Yeah. There's some new growth too. Okay, so that is, well, the plant's fine. It's fine. It's back to its twice a week routine. It'll be fine. It's just I wanted to point that out to you, that can happen. If the plants get dependent on the what you're giving them. They get dependent on their environment, and then you change it. Well, they've got to adapt to the new. Oh, she's floating around now. There's a bamboo shrimp on the loose. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. You see that other filter in the back? I'm going to tell you about that in a moment. Okay, so it's an eyesore too. I really need to get a different. Look at that. It's white. I really need to get a different color or something. I don't know. Change that head. Oh, she went right back to her spot. I think she just let go for a second. Let me get you a picture of the neons. They're so pretty. It's almost almost, actually, everybody's getting sleepy. What time is it? Okay, yeah, it's about time for me to shut the light off. And they know it. Okay, filters, right. So that happened, and then I made a mistake. Then I made another mistake. I was like, oh, this sword was just blocking everything. I'd let it get, while I wasn't paying attention, it just grew. Okay, so I pulled it up and moved it in the back. Well, that's something you expect to do in a garden with your plants, but there is one type of fish that I've got in here that really doesn't want silt in the water and really doesn't do well, and that is the auto catfish. They want nice, crispy, clear water. At least that's been my experience. And I knew that, and I was really hoping that I could prevent that from happening by having the canister filter on here. It wasn't quick enough. I had some auto catfish deaths. You don't understand how much silt I pulled up, okay? I didn't lose all of them. I don't know how many I lost because they're hard to find and they're tiny and, you know. There's still some in here. It's just, I don't know how many at this point. Yeah. The soil is deep and there's a lot of it. So when you pull up a deeply rooted plant, you're gonna pull up a lot of dirt. It's like walking through a lake or a river with a muddy bottom. I mean, think about it. You're creating mud. Well, that type of fish doesn't really like that. And I knew that from reading from experience. And nope, that was bad. And the next day I had some deaths, or at least a couple little bodies I found. I'm pretty sure I lost more than 2. I just can't. You know, they're so small. I don't know how many more I lost. I know I lost 2. Yeah. Other than just when you're doing your landscaping, be aware how big your plants are going to grow so that you don't have to do that much in the future like I did. See this guy right here? I'm going to have to move him sooner rather than later so I don't go through that again. Because it's the same type of sword. I thought they were going to stay small, but no, that was not this type of sword. I thought this was one of the types of swords that was going to stay small. It didn't. So this guy's going to move too. And since he's smaller, he's not going to have much of a root system, so hopefully he'll be easy to move. But I'm not going to get any more autocats until he does move. Alright, so I say he, she, what, it. So that sword is this guy right here. Is going to go. Not go, but it's going to be moved. So think about that when you're doing your landscaping, aquascaping, how big your plants are going to get. Because it isn't just about decoration, it's also about the health of your fish. Anyway, okay, filters. I told you about the Theo heaters. I want to tell you about my powerhead experience. Powerheads and hanging filters, man. The industry has changed. Brands that I trusted, back in the 90s, and I don't necessarily trust anymore. They're cheap now. They're cheap. They're totally cheap. I can't even find a hanging filter. Well, that's not true. Okay, so let me tell you what happened with the hanging filter. The new 29, because I'd had experience with it with the hydroponics thing, or aquaponics, I suppose. I put a basil plant and some hydroton in a hanging filter, and it did pretty well. So I was like, well, I'll put a lily or something in there, and, a bio wheel and a lily or something. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Well, I bought a new filter for it because I wanted something that was super quiet, and hanging filters are not quiet. But the AquaClear bio wheel is pretty quiet. So I got this, and I want to just run it. I don't actually have plants or hydrogen in it yet. It's just a regular old filter cartridge in there with its bio wheel. Thing was loud as hell. I kept pulling out the impeller to take a look at it, see if it was clogged. No, it's not clogged. Didn't even last a month. It just completely burned out. It's under warranty. I bitched. It got under warranty. Got a new one. Months later, it burned out. Screw that. I've got a used one on there. I'm done experimenting with that brand anymore because I cannot. Their power heads and their hanging filters are no longer the quality they used to be, and it's very frustrating. If you remember, I was talking about this tank in the past. Let me find something interesting for you to look at. Sorry. Remember I was talking about this tank. God, I'm all over the place. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, hello. Hello. remember I was talking about this tank where I was like, I can't get a power head that works. I've got a power head in my 10-gallon that I had in the late 90s. And the other one's new, but and it's still running. It's fine. I clean out the impeller like once a year. I really, it's fine, but I cannot get newer ones. On this one, I had a couple. To be fair, I did try some used ones, and they didn't hold it. They were loud, and so which is an impeller. The impeller wasn't seating right, and that's probably because it was used and abused, and that's why they gave it to me when I got it. Craigslist type of tank thing. It's like, here, you want some filter stuff? Sure, you know. Yeah, that. But the newer ones should not have that problem. Newer ones should not just. They should have the section that they're rated to have, and they should have the power that they're rated. No, it's completely unreliable. One day they'll be running late. And I look, the impellers, I'm not a novice with impellers, okay? I know to clean them and look at them. They're fine. They're totally fine. They're fine. It's just that these things are cheap and they die. So, that's my rant. I got really frustrated, and after screwing up my water change schedule and being frustrated with myself, and I was frustrated with the tank, I was frustrated with the brands, I was frustrated with myself. I was like, to heck with it. I'm just going to put a canister filter on here. I do not want to ever have to worry about this. No matter what happens, the thing's going to have clear water. I don't care. Yes, it's silly, but there you go. But I still got another American-made thing in here. This is a Fluval 306 running on this sucker. Now, I am still keeping a close eye on my shrimp and making sure they're getting enough food. I'm trying to make sure they get enough food because I'm concerned that it'll be overfiltration. When you've got filter feeders, such as this lady up here, they need not crap in the water, but flake food and debris, living debris, plankton, basically. Bits of stuff that's in the water, living organisms that's in the water, and you may or may not be able to see it, and they like to eat it. And if you have super cleaning resin in your filter, you gotta be careful because you don't want to. Where are the baby fish? There's baby fish. You don't want to have to have all your water filtered too well, because then the shrimps don't have food. I have Kent Marine stuff that you can add to your water, and baby fish food. They actually like baby fish food. It's just powder. Yeah, they like that. But it's hard to spot feed. Anyway, ideally, I haven't had to spot. I've had these guys for what? Oh gosh, over a year now. It's not long. Okay. And they're doing okay. I had a huge. Remember that huge moment? Yeah, she died. But she was huge. She was bigger than any of these guys. The one that was like more chameleon than anybody. Yeah, she had a shed, and then instead of hiding that, because they usually hide right after shed because their skin's really soft. She didn't. She came right out and just perched on a log, and I thought she was okay. I was like, that's weird. Why are you out? No. Then later that day I realized that she was dead. She just came out and perched and died. It was really weird. Yeah. So I don't know if that was an age thing because she was, like I said, she was big, or because she just had a bad shed and it stressed her out, or what was that was in the spring. I'm sorry, I haven't done an update in a while. That was before the whole aquarium not getting water changes or fertilizer thing. I'm trying to think of all the updates. So those are the tragedies. Sorry, I'm giving you all the bad news. Okay. So the good news is I have an outstanding filter on this aquarium, and if it doesn't overfilter, as in take out all the, it's not going to hurt my plants or the other fish. I'm just kind of worried it's going to take out the living organisms out of the tank from the for the bamboo shrimp. But so far so good. We're still watching. Let's see what other updates are in here. Oh, remember that the used heater, the Tetra thing that keeps it stable at 75, and you can't adjust it. It's just constant 75 no matter what. It's been doing great. I am impressed. So after my experiences with the Theo heater, the one I doubted would work for long, the one I was scared about, is actually turned out to be the best heater so far. Is that the Tetra brand that's just, it has like sand in it or something. Looks like sand. I'm trying to think what other updates are in here, but I think I've told you all the major ones. Yeah, canister filter, super quiet, man. I haven't personally owned canister filters before, but I'm familiar with them and I've messed with them before. And the quietest filter you can ever get is an internal. I think is an internal. You know, the power head system. I've had people come into my home and not even, they're like, I didn't know your aquariums were on or running. Are they running? Because they can't hear the power heads because they're so freaking quiet. But the hanging filters are terribly loud. Air pumps are usually the sound that you associate with aquariums is usually that air pump sound, the bubbling sound and the hum. That's usually from air pumps. Well, hanging filters are pretty loud, and I was annoyed with that too. But the canisters are quieter, but they still got some noise. But the 06 series, they have made improvements, and they are quieter. There's still hum, but it is very quiet. I don't like their intakes and outtakes because they're bright white, as you can see. Really easy setup, really easy, user friendly. I'm trying to. Oh, it's not gonna. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Okay, well, we don't have flash on right now, so whatever. Another time. We'll babble about filters another time. Actually, someone had suggested that I do like why are we filtering, and I figured I'd go over test kits and stuff, and just I don't know, because these videos are mostly for me, and if you guys get some information out of it, I am thrilled, but unless you ask for something, I ain't gonna get it, because I'm just screwing around here. Okay, so that's reality. So I'm gonna do a why are we filtering, and what are test kits, and why are we testing, and so forth, without like getting too technical, so that because anyway, I'm going to that another time. So the canister filter I'm impressed with, and I'll tell you what, the main relief is that I do not have to fight about the power heads anymore. That is stupid for a reason, but that's it. That's the reason. I am once a month I can take that thing apart, look at it, make sure it's running, done. And if I want to adjust my filtration media or whatever, I can do that. Or I pulled out some of it because I wasn't going to use all. Like I said, I don't want to over filter. And the water's clear and everything, but it always freaking was. So it's not like my plants are fine. It's just what I did. Okay, here's the reality: is here's the truth. The truth is, I have enough filtration with just circulating water and plants. Okay, and it's been doing great for over a year. This tank, gosh, we're not at a year and a half. We're not at a year and a half on this one, I think, if I'm doing my math right. We're not at a year and a half yet. May. Not quite. Okay. A year and 4 months? So something like that. Okay, anyway, no, May. No, it was July. So yeah, no, it's a little over a year. Okay, anyway. So I still feel like it's new, even though it's over a year. Isn't that funny? I always think of that in tanks in terms of years. But when I started setting up the other 29 in January, and it is now the end of September, January 1st, December 30th is when I did my video with my baby Plecos. That's when I started setting up that 29. The second 29, not this one. I realized that I really had changed my focus. I mean, I enjoy my plants, and I will always have planted aquariums if I have aquariums at all. But I realized how much I was enjoying the livestock. And I was like, you know what? I need to think what happens, for example, in the other tank, what happens if the plants die or the Pleco decides, hey, you know what, I'm going to eat these now. For whatever reason. Okay, it's a bristle nose. It's not going to get that big, and it's going to leave things alone. But, worst case scenario, what if? Well, am I going to be okay with that? So basically, think ahead. I'm trying to plan ahead, and I realized, no, I am, because I'm enjoying the fish too. So in that regard, I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and make sure the fish are going to be okay too, without the plants, even if the plants aren't there. So that tank that tank, not this tank. This tank is. So when I changed the focus on that tank, I had gotten a hold of a, what's it called? Eheim 250, sorry, Eheim 250 canister. And it is bare bones canister, man. It's a bucket with a motor, and it's an awesome, but it's quiet. And when I had experience with that, I was like, I really like this. This is after my hanging filter disasters, and I was just like, I got tired of returning filters. This thing, I was like, oh my gosh. So the other one had 250 on it. And I was like, you know what? As much stress as I'm having with my powerhead struggle with this tank, I was like, to heck with this. I am going to get me a brand new canister for this tank. So I went ahead and bought a new canister. Oh god. Yeah, they're not cheap, guys. But that's okay. I think it's going to be worth it. And maybe I'll switch them, because this is the tank that really... The Eheim is fine. It's so quiet. I'm showing you this tank live. Oh gosh, let's turn off the light. There. Okay. This is the other 29. Now, as you can, I still have the hanging filter on it. That's what that noise is. But the Eheim, there's a I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. Sorry. There's a 5-gallon over there with an air pump. So if you hear anything, it's the hanging filter and the air pump behind me. It is not the Eheim filter. That thing is quiet, and it is German. It is not American made or Chinese made or whatever. Yeah. And I picked up a little wave maker. Okay. Anyway, this tank, overkill filtration too. As you can see, the plants have gone nuts in here, and I'm thrilled. Now this tank is now, let's see, the end of September. So we're looking at a 10-month-old tank.